Now at 5, IMPD officer disciplined. What was said at the scene of last week's deadly officer-involved shooting that led to the suspension?
Honoring a fallen officer while helping young children and their mothers who are behind bars. The donations needed right now more than ever.
Hoosiers getting back to work. I'm Nicole Griffin tonight at a Greenwood restaurant talking to employees as they begin to serve customers once again.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
And right now at 5, rumbles of thunder, some heavy rain and dark skies. It's all part of a day that's seen temperatures quickly soar into the 70s and even 80s. Thanks for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. Some of that rain was pretty heavy this afternoon. Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kyle Mounts is tracking what's ahead tonight on this Storm Team 6 alert day. Hey, Kyle.
Yeah, Amanda, some of us have already picked up a couple rounds of rain here, and officially at the airport, over a half-inch of rain has fallen. Things are quieting down across much of the state, but we still have some rumbles of thunder near the Liberty area. Most of the thunderstorms now in Ohio. We've still got some moderate rain around Newcastle. A couple more showers starting to pop up here around Spencer and Owen County, and we'll be watching western portions of the state and back into Illinois for additional development here as we go through this evening. This is TrueCast at 7 o'clock. You can see a couple more of those thunderstorms kind of bubbling up, and we'll see more of that activity lifting to the north as we go through about 10 o'clock tonight before things again will temporarily quiet down. We still have that slight risk from Indianapolis and areas to the north where we could have some of those severe storms with the potential for some gusty winds. Areas south of there, it's a marginal threat. We'll take you through the rest of the overnight and into a wet Friday in just a few minutes.
Noon tonight, an IMPD officer is suspended after comments captured on a Facebook Live video following a deadly officer-involved shooting last week. The comments were made following the fatal shooting of Dre John Reed, an IMPD officer, on May 6th near 62nd and Michigan Road. Reed was streaming live on Facebook as he led police on a chase. The stream continued after he got out of the vehicle and confronted officers. Police say gunfire was exchanged and several shots could be heard on the live stream, which did not capture video of the shooting. After the gunfire ended, an officer was heard making a comment that said, quote, "It's going to be a closed casket." Now, the officer has been suspended and reassigned. IMPD did not release details for the officer's safety. He has not been identified, but IMPD says he is African American.
Now, coronavirus briefing numbers for you, and there was no briefing from the state today as the new schedule kicked in this week. The next one is tomorrow, but we still receive daily numbers from the health department, and today we saw a drop in daily reported deaths. As you can see from this chart that we're showing you, reports of deaths per day have remained fairly steady in recent days, with daily increases in the 30s, except for Sunday and today. Today, the state reported 26 more deaths. They occurred between May 7th and yesterday. The statewide total is now 1,508. A number that is on the rise, the number of Hoosiers being tested. It jumped by more than 6,300 between yesterday and today, but not all the tests were administered yesterday. 634 new positive cases were also reported today that occurred between April 3rd and yesterday. More than 160,000 people have already been tested, and that number will grow as more sites become active. Tomorrow, Walmart will open drive-through COVID-19 testing sites and parking lots at 5 of its stores in central Indiana. They'll be open Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., weather permitting, and by appointment. Those who meet CDC, state, and local guidelines for testing are eligible to make an appointment. You'll have to give yourself a nasal swab test observed by a trained medical volunteer to make sure that it's done correctly. Results will go to the state to be included in the overall testing numbers. The testing sites include the Walmarts in Indianapolis on South US 31, West 86th Street and North Keystone, Canby, and Greenwood. To make an appointment, you can look for this story on the IndyChannel.com. More numbers now, the economic side of the coronavirus outbreak. Today, the federal government announced nearly 3 million laid-off workers applied for unemployment benefits last week. Roughly 36 million Americans have now filed for jobless aid in the 2 months since the virus began, forcing businesses to close. And still, the number of first-time applications has declined for 6 straight weeks, suggesting a dwindling number of companies reducing their payrolls. The downward trend can be seen in Indiana, too. Today, the Labor Department department announced that more than 30,000 Hoosiers filed for unemployment benefits last week. That's down about 11,600 from the week before. Still, in the 8 weeks since businesses started cutting back, more than 650,000 Hoosiers have filed for unemployment. Before all of this started, the weekly number of claims was about 2,000 to 2,500.
And all of those claims are causing a delay for some Hoosiers who say they filed for unemployment back in March but have yet to receive their benefits. RTV6's Megan Santorum spoke with one man who is not sure where to turn or when he'll be able to go back to work.
March 17th was the last day Richard Clark says he was able to work. Clark tells us he's a driver for Enterprise and he filed for unemployment shortly after learning he'd be without a job due to COVID-19.
I filed on March 29th, and, I waited and waited.
Now, more than 6 weeks later, he's still waiting. He says his online portal shows an issue with deductible income. He's now waiting on a claims investigator to call him. The Department of Workforce Development had announced that they were bringing additional staff members on to help process claims and answer calls. A spokesperson there tells me that since the pandemic, they've hired an additional 160 people to work the call center. They've also tripled the number of claims investigators, although numbers for how many new hires that included were not immediately available. Still, many like Clark say they think more needs to be done because right now he's not sure if or when he'll be able to get back to work.
I'm just wondering when I'm going to start getting some money in. I mean, it's pretty hard going to the grocery store and not having any money to pay for them with. It's getting down to where, we need the money to get by on.
Working for you, Megan Santorum, RTV6.
And the Department of Workforce Development has directed people experiencing the deductible income error message to their website in a video that explains why you may be getting that message. We will have a link to that as part of this story on our website at theindychannel.com.
Some Hoosiers are returning to work as phase 2 of the state's reopening plan continues. Restaurants in most counties across the state are back open. RTV6's Nicole Griffin is in Johnson County tonight, checking in with a furloughed employee who is now back at work after weeks at a temporary job.
For the last 8 weeks, the dining room here at Smoky Bones in Greenwood has been closed due to the pandemic, but starting this week, it is now back open at 50% capacity. On the tables throughout the restaurant, you'll see signs like this, letting the staff and customers know that that table is not available. And with them reopening, that means staff members that were furloughed are now back at work. Just over a month after getting hired at Smoky Bones in Greenwood, server Bo Thomas got the news that the restaurant must close its dining room.
It was kind of mixed emotions. I didn't know what to feel in the moment. I was fortunate that I had found another temp job to get me through this crisis.
For the last several weeks, Thomas has been working at Aldi while still answering the call from his general manager to come into the restaurant and help out. He did carry out orders and also helped clean the restaurant in order to reopen on Monday. Now that he's back to serving, starting his day at the restaurant looks much different. He has to have on a mask, get his temperature taken, and answer a series of questions relating to COVID-19.
It's definitely a big relief. I'm very excited that we're open, and the first day we had a lot of our regulars come in, and just after that first shift, it was like, all right, we got this, we're getting through this together.
A lot of people have been very kind, and they've been very patient and understanding, and it's really good to see, because I always have my worries like, oh, this is definitely different.
Thomas says a big reason he returned to Smoky Bones is because of his general manager, Stephanie Krakowski. He says throughout the pandemic, she showed how much she cared about her staff by checking in on them, offering meals, and even helping them find temporary jobs and file for unemployment benefits. Working for you in Greenwood, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Thank you, Nicole. Now, since reopening Monday, Smoky Bones has brought back 12 of the 20 servers they had to let go. Managers expect to bring even more workers back as things get busier.
The need for diapers and other baby items is huge right now due to the coronavirus, and with the growing number of mothers admitted to the Officer Breanne Leith Memorial Maternal Child Unit at the Indiana Women's Prison, the need for supplies has grown exponentially. RTV6's Stephanie Wade explains how incarcerated mothers and their children are getting a meaningful transition into the community in memory of the fallen officer.
We knew coming into this COVID-19 crisis that things were going to change as far as availability of items. I think everyone was experiencing this, but when you're feeding, possibly 15 or 20 children at a time, formula, baby food, diapers, wipes, we are going through these items at an exponential rate.
Right now, everyone's feeling the pinch. Fewer resources available in stores, people's jobs at risk. But the need hasn't stopped. If anything, it's grown. Renamed the Officer Breanne Leith Memorial Maternal Child Health Unit at the Indiana Women's Prison in honor of the fallen, who also served as a correctional officer in the nursery. Put the ask out for donations, and the response was overwhelming. The Indiana Youth for Christ organization and Chapel Rock Christian Church donating all of these items for the pregnant women and their newborn babies.
And it was phenomenal, the response that we got. People just came out of the woodwork. I had people driving 3 hours down from LaPorte and South Bend, Indiana, to deliver their donations in person. It was just unbelievable to see so much good work happening during a time like this.
The program was founded in 2008 for pregnant offenders coming into prison who have short sentences, a chance to keep their children with them for 30 months and to give them the love, affection, and consistency they never had, something Officer Leith felt strongly about and understood better than so many.
This program meant the world to her, and she cared for these children and these mothers really like they were her own. And she just had such a special bond, and she really made a positive, lifelong impact on these women and their children.
The group of women incredibly thankful that in the midst of such a trying time,
it really makes you believe that there's still good in the world. So that's awesome. So thank you to everyone who donated or is interested in donating. We appreciate it more than you'll ever know.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
And the unit is still in need of diapers, wipes, baby wash, and lotion, and nursery furniture and cribs as well. If you are interested in donating, we have the email address to the coordinator in this story at theindychannel.com.
Now still ahead, their HOA said no yard signs, how some essential workers decided to respond, and the creative way they're still receiving support. They're headed into the Shark Tank, the Bloomington company that's hoping they'll get ABC Sharks to invest in their very unique formula for an everyday product.
Only on RTV6 News.
An Indianapolis couple will remove their hero signs from their front yards. On Monday, we told you about Damon and Tina Turnmeyer. They're essential workers. He works with special needs children, and she works with senior citizens. Well, they received a notice from their HOA informing them that their signs were in violation and had to be removed. Today is the deadline. RTV6's Rafael Sanchez spoke to the Turnmeyers, who say they were not interested in spending money on a legal fight they'd likely lose.
It's very difficult. I can't go, you know what, kids, we're not going to get that right now because we have to financially pay for a sign in our yard. I can't do that. So ultimately that decision has been taken from me.
I love what we both do. We work in two opposite ends of the field, but we are united as one, and whatever we do, we just do it for a purpose.
But check this out. The rules don't allow the signs, but say nothing about chalk art. The Turnmeyers' relatives, who are proud of their heroes, created some messages on the driveway. The messages say several things like, heroes live here, stay safe, and love each other. The HOA's official response to the signs was 2 words, no comment.
Well, what started as 3 local roommates taking a closer look at the ingredients in their soap has turned into a thriving business with a unique business model. And they're getting a moment in the national spotlight on this week's season finale of Shark Tank. I caught up with the founders of Bloomington-based soap company, The Mad Optimist. It all started with a need for a different kind of product.
A lot of manufactured soap out there has an ingredient called sodium tallowate, which is beef fat. And, you know, we are all Muslim and we practice like halal, and we're also like vegetarian and vegan.
That led to the realization that they could make something better than what they could find on store shelves.
So we're like, you know what, why are we putting beef fat on our bodies? Let's create a soap that doesn't have that. So we created all vegan bar.
Mohammed Zarmadi is one part of the Mad Optimist. He co-founded the unique soap brand in 2012 with his brother Mohammed Mahdi and Anthony Duncan. They make custom body care specializing in all natural products that are vegan, halal, non-GMO, gluten, and cruelty-free. Along with the completely customized and made-to-order soaps, body sprays, and lip balms, they offer customers a customized price option with a sliding price scale for all of their products.
For the customers who can pay a little bit more, offset the cost for the customers who need to pay a little bit less. So we're trying to create a community of like-minded individuals. So we base everything off of equality and kind of pushing forward the way businesses can be, changing things for the better.
They have also changed the pay structure within their workplace.
All employees make the exact same hourly wage, which will grow as the company grows. And so even the co-founders will begin getting paid the same wage as well.
It is an innovative way these guys believe they can make the world a better place.
We figured we're optimistic, and the mad portion came from the aspect of we're very much so like quality extremists, and so we go crazy over everything that we do, and so the quality, the craftsmanship, the attention to detail that we pay, we're crazy about body care. So the Mad Optimist.
And if you're wondering how that sliding scale pricing works, you simply pick the price you want to pay on the Mad Optimist website, no questions asked. You can see if the Mad Optimist lured in any sharks tomorrow at 8 p.m. right here on RTV6.
Awesome idea there. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. And Kyle's been tracking some pretty heavy rain moving across our state. Hey, Kyle.
Yeah, Mark, and we're just starting to rev up this rain engine. We've got several chances for some wet weather coming our way. Right now, we're getting a break, though, over downtown Indianapolis. We've even seen a few rays of sunshine breaking through that cloud cover. Where you haven't had the rain today, though, look at temperatures. You're in the middle 80s right now in Bedford at 85, 83 in Sullivan, a rain-cooled 64 in Indianapolis, and those temperatures starting to recover in the Lafayette area at 72 degrees. Here's a look at Storm Team 6 radar, and as we get a little closer to the Spencer area, one downpour just north of town. That will continue to move off to the east. Even had one little flash of lightning with that one as it crosses 231. Then a batch of some moderate rain that continues to move along 36 there through Fountain City, and that will scoot into Ohio. But we could have a few additional thunderstorms here this evening. I think most likely over western and northern portions of the state, and then we'll continue to see the bulk of the rain lifting north through the overnight. But with the potential of an isolated warning, make sure you've got that Storm Shield app loaded and ready to go. It will send any alerts that are issued for your location right to your phone, and of course you'll have radar there as well. Very mild tonight. Temperatures are going to hold in the middle 60s for us with a couple of those storms and otherwise mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures tomorrow will be a little bit cooler, but still not bad here. Will be mild as those numbers make their way back into the 70s. I think we're going to have more in the way of rain, though, and cloud cover as we go through the day. High temperatures for your Friday, 71 in Bloomington, 75 in the Lafayette area, and we'll find those numbers in the lower 70s in Muncie and Richmond as well at 71. So here's a look at that rain on TrueCast, 9 a.m. So it looks like tomorrow morning again we'll start off with some rain and some rumbles of thunder. Don't expect those to be severe. As we go late morning into the early afternoon, that line of storms will push southeast, but we see a few more of those developing as we go into the afternoon hours. So tomorrow will be fairly active, and we do have a marginal risk basically over the southeast half of the state again again for some gusty winds in some of those storms and heavy rainfall. That's something we'll be watching for, especially if you get under a couple of different thunderstorms moving through. Some areas could see over 2 inches of rainfall, and this only goes through tomorrow night. We're going to have those rain chances continuing into the upcoming weekend, although Saturday looks to be the pick of the weekend with a high of 78, 30% chance of rain there. Then it becomes a little more widespread for Sunday. 7-day planning forecast. It gets a little bit cooler next week. Right now, it looks like there's going to be a weather system that kind of sits around. Doesn't bring a whole lot of precipitation, but slightly cooler with 64 the high on Monday, close to 70 on Tuesday. Looks like we'll get back into the 70s by the middle of next week with a dry stretch of weather coming our way. Stay with us. There's much more on the news at 5 right after this.
Apply online today.
Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's commitment to keep you informed of job opportunities, especially now when so many are out of work. A company in Greencastle notified us they have more than 200 warehouse positions immediately available. That company is Adecco. You could potentially start a day after your interview. No experience is required and training is provided. Pay starts at $15.50 to $16 an hour. To set up a virtual interview, you can apply online at adeccousa.com/jobs or call 317-237-7990. We also have this info at hiringhoosiers.com. And only on RTV6, some students are unable to connect online with their classroom. The group that's now calling out what's happening to some kids during this pandemic, tonight at 6. And we'll be back to join you for the news at 6 p.m. right here on RTV6.